The largest collection of birds of prey in the state is located right outside Cheney, Kansas. It's not a zoo or even a museum. It's a bird rehabilitation center started by a man who's dedicated to returning these amazing creatures back into the wild. Since Ken Lockwood began helping these beautiful animals, it's amazing how many people now come to him for help.
He had flown into a soccer net, and apparently he had been there for a couple days, and the more he struggled to get out of the soccer net, the more tangled up he got. So he was in 100-degree weather for a couple days, tangled up in this net. It was wrapped all around him, he couldn't move, and it just goes to show you just how tough these birds are. 2 years ago I had this guy from Douglas call me. He had a little robin, and I said, well, I know we don't take robins, but go ahead and bring it. This guy shows up in a beat-up old Ford pickup. He was about 6'6", about 300 pounds, and he opens his hand and he says, can you take care of my bird? And I'm looking up at him saying, yes, I will.
Ken takes in hundreds of injured birds like this one every year, but they're a lot bigger than a robin. Here you'll find eagles, hawks, owls, kites, falcons, and even vultures.
They're southwest like Nevada, New Mexico. Okay, now put your thumb together, give them a nice bit, or give her a nice bit, push into the back of her legs. There's a real passion for wildlife, and when people see something injured or young, you know, it's that human compassion to want to nurture.
Some of these birds have been injured in shootings or have been hit by cars. Others come because of poisoning, and a few are brought here after being orphaned as babies.
She was in Wisconsin, so he didn't keep her in a heated mew, so she got frostbite on the tips of her wings, and they just fell off about a week after I got her.
Ken has become so well known for helping birds of prey that people send him wounded birds from all over the country.
And then Cessna, our bald eagle, she came from Juneau, Alaska, and when we got her 8 years ago, we could only get her as far as Denver. Well, Jack Pelton, CEO of Cessna, he made the arrangements to have one of his jets who was going to be in Denver bring her to Wichita for us. And so we were very honored to name her Cessna.
These birds not only have distinctive personalities, they have really unique names as well. This is Avatar. He's sitting off of Ken's shoulder on the right side of your screen. He's so cute he doesn't even look real. Avatar is a speckled owl that is usually found in Central America and Cuba.
How do you not, because looking at just Avatar, I get attached just in the first few minutes. How do you not get attached? Because a lot of these birds you do set free again.
That's, in the beginning, it was really hard. I was trying to save everything, knowing that I couldn't. It's just the human instinct to want to save, to nurture.
In order to save as many birds like Avatar as he could, Ken formed the Eagle Valley Raptor Center in 2002. It's located here on 20 acres of land near Cheney, Kansas. The center is designed to rehabilitate injured birds of prey and send them back into the wild. This is something Ken says he was born to do.
Well, ever since I was a little boy, growing up in Pennsylvania, I spent countless hours out in the woods. We had lots of hills. We lived near the Poconos in the Allegheny National Forest. Lots of hawks, eagles, owls, vultures, and I've always been fascinated with them. And animals just have always been part of my life.
Although Ken loved animals, he originally took a job at the post office, a job he knew would pay well.
The Postal Service did me really good, made lots of money. It provided things for me that I probably normally couldn't afford. But I was unhappy, and material things just didn't bring happiness to me.
Rather than spend the next 20 years in a job that made him unhappy, Ken took a leap of faith and decided to do what made him feel fulfilled.
And, so about 12 years ago, I made a career change in my life, and I decided that happiness was more important than money.
Amen. No doubt about that.
So Ken left his job and took a position at Tanganyika Wildlife Park in Goddard. He spent the next 4 years there, but decided to follow his heart and take another leap of faith and go out on his own.
Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo!
That's how the Eagle Valley Raptor Center came to be. But it didn't happen overnight. The Fish and Wildlife Service and the Kansas Division of Wildlife and Parks have guidelines you have to meet to open a center like this one. So Ken sought out any place that could help educate him.
I went to the University of Minnesota and trained there. I went to the World Bird Sanctuary in St. Louis. the Colorado Division of Wildlife. And then there's an organization called the IWRC, which stands for International Wildlife Rehab Council, and they give seminars on wildlife rehab, and so I got certified through them also.
Ken takes in anywhere from 140 to 150 birds each year and says about 80% of the birds he treats are injured by accident.
We probably have about a 50% success rate on the injured ones. Probably 75–80% are wing injuries. You know, so the first thing you got to do is how severe is it? Is it a compound fracture? Is it just you know, a fracture? Is it near a joint? All those have to, how old is it? Has infection set in? So just like an injury a human would get, you've got to analyze it to see if the bird is savable, because our first thing that we must do is we are to fix this bird so it can go back to the wild. This is a great horned owl, and it's probably a young male. We can tell by the size, and he's still got some juvenile plumage in him.
Ken spends 12 to 14 hours a day taking care of these birds, but it's a job he calls a labor of love. The sad part is, most of these birds don't even realize he's doing it.
When they're babies, I use a hand puppet that resembles their parents, because I don't want them to associate me as the food source, and that's extremely important. Because if they see a human as a food source and then we let them go, they're going to be on somebody's back porch or in a tree in their yard, you know, screaming at them, "Feed me, feed me."
The goal is to release these magnificent birds back into the wild, but sadly that's not always possible. These 12 holding pens were built to house birds that, for whatever reason, cannot be released into the wild again.
A lot of the experts say that rehabbing really does not save the birds, that we should let nature take its course. And a lot of people get told that, but cars, barbed wire fences, gunshots, poisoning, traps, that's not nature, that's man. And to me, if humans are the cause of the bird's demise or the cause of their injury, then we as humans should at least give them that opportunity to go back to the nature. And that's why I do what I do. Hi guys. They're molting feathers right now, and so they molt their head first. They're having a bad hair day.
Now, with birds, and I know with any animal, they all have unique personalities.
Yes, they do. Are
there a couple that just stand out to you?
Yeah, we have some. We have Herman Munster, my turkey vulture. He likes girls. Wazoo, our bald eagle, he likes girls, and he'll take pictures with you.
Yes, he will. And he did. Isn't this amazing? He jumps right up on the perch to take a picture with you.
Okay, hold that thought. They're like dogs, you know, as far as training, as far as personalities. Each one is unique on how they train, how they act, and they're just really neat birds. Watch, he'll go in the water, watch.
I love the tail. It's like...
Oh, he won't get his tail wet.
When you first started out, did you imagine it would get to be this big?
Let's put it this way. I never thought when I was 50 years old I'd be spending $600 a month in frozen dead mice and rats. Let me tell you, I have a very understanding wife, because in the beginning we had to share our refrigerator, and she was very understanding about putting the frozen mice in with our food. Perch up. Wazoo up. Wazoo up. Thank you.
The center not only provides a place for these birds to recuperate, it also offers an educational opportunity for hundreds of kids each year. Some come with their scouting groups. Others come on school field trips.
I will not talk. I will not run. But most of all, I will have fun. All right.
Not only do they get to see some amazing birds of prey up close and personal, they learn why they're so important.
These guys along telephone wires, along fields like wheat fields, because one of his favorite foods is grasshoppers. He just loves grasshoppers, so farmers love him. These birds play a huge part in our lives as humans. The barn owl, for example, the average barn owl eats 3,000 mice a year, one barn owl. Great horned owls, one of their favorite foods is skunks. Skunks are the #1 carrier of rabies in Kansas. The average field mouse in Kansas, in the wheat fields and everything that farmers plant, the average field mouse, one breeding pair, can multiply to 1 million in 1 year. So if we didn't have hawks and owls, I guarantee you, not only would there be crop destruction, but the diseases that they carry would be unbelievable. Turkey vultures, for example, turkey vultures only eat dead animals. A lot of diseases can be spread through dead and decaying animals. Now, yeah, you put it down low. He has to get on his perch. Stick it down low. Stick it in here. All the way through. There you go. Good job. Turn around and take a bow, young lady. Let's give her a nice round of applause. So if people start seeing them as an important part of the environment, then I've accomplished what I wanted to do. Animals, to me, I feel are a very important part of our lives as humans. They bring a lot of love to us. They're very therapeutic. One of the criteria before we release a bird is we make sure they have good, healthy feet. Sharp talons, as you can see, and nice skin on the bottom. That's their bread and butter right there. That's what they use to catch their food. So we make sure the talons are good, nothing's broken, the feet are healthy. And, then we check their wings. Make sure all the feathers are nice and good and healthy. And even more important is their tail feathers. They have to have good tail feathers. This is like a rudder on an airplane, and they use this a lot to maneuver and when they're going down and catching their prey. Beak looks good. He's good and healthy weight-wise. This is a bird that's ready to go. The reward, when you throw a bird up in the air and those wings open up, it's a pretty cool feeling. 1, 2, 3. That's what it's all about. That's our reward. Look how strong he's flying. That was a bird that was ready to go.
If you find an injured bird of prey, call the number on your screen. If you know someone who has a successful, inspirational, or motivational story to tell, well, we want to know about it too. We've made it very easy for you to tell us. You can go to one of these websites, or you can contact us through Facebook, Twitter, or you can even send us a letter. Be sure to give us a name and number where we can reach them and tell us what they're doing that you think makes them so special. Thanks for watching It's All Good. I'm Sierra Scott. If you have a dream you think will make the world better, don't let anything stop you.
It's All Good with Sierra Scott. Brought to you by Granite Transformations for kitchens and baths, and Central Security Group. Peace of mind you can afford.